I was estranged from my family from the beginning. I was in care since I was 13 months old, so pretty much right after I was born. I was apprehended from my parents and thrown into care from a very young age. I was in about 14 different group homes. They started suspecting mental health issues from a very young age because I was a severely dissociative child. I think not being held at all as a child and trading that in for abuse sort of makes you not know how to connect to people in any way, not know how to ask for hugs, not know how to ask for things. So I guess for me, I disassociated a lot, and I was just I wasn't very present for a long time. For me, I would just rather people explain to me, tell me what was going on and why they were writing files about me, and just don't treat me like a number in a system, right? Because of the attachment issues surrounding kids in care, and already have everything around that. Being honest and 100% honest to them from the beginning is probably gonna do less damage. It'll probably reduce the damage in the long run if you're just honest. And yeah, a lot of things are kept from the kids because they feel that they can't handle it, but you'd actually be surprised. If I could change one thing in CFS, I would stop medicating these children and giving them pharmaceuticals. I would encourage practitioner healers to come in and talk to these people and talk to the children about their inner self and their identity and their spirit and their soul. If you were just honest with them, be like, yeah, I'm paid money to help you along in your life because it's, I would have rather people be like, I'm not here to be your friend, I'm not here to be your mom or your dad, I'm here to be a friend, and you're gonna have lots of friends in life that are gonna try to help you into becoming an adult, and you have to, just let me help you for the time that I'm here, and just saying it in a way where you're not getting too attached, but don't get their hopes up. It's a balance of not getting this child's hopes up and of not making them believe a world that doesn't exist. I think for me, trauma makes you regress, so you're kind of stuck in these emotional states where you're still a certain age, and people that are trying to raise you around you are expecting you to be a certain age when you psychologically can't be a certain age because of an experience nobody acknowledged. So that makes it really hard for people to raise anyone in CFS.
Me and my brothers got placed in foster care when we were small. We've been probably in 8 different homes, including shelters and group homes and stuff like that.
He's a snapshot, he's a little glimpse of a kid who didn't have much, but he wished he did. Late nights, booze, drugs, and fights, no food in the fridge, mama's high as a kite. 6 years old, been raised up on welfare. I got 3 younger brothers, mom, pa, nope, they don't care. Bottle full of liquor and a bag full of dope. Pissy matches full of bed, but we clung on to hope. I'm a product of my environment. The only thing that matters, my brothers and money management. Mom, pa, too messed up to realize they messed up. Now CFS controls our lives.
I think it was the 3rd foster home we went to where My social worker told me that we were gonna be put together into a different foster home because we were moving, we had to move. Our social worker told us that we were going to a better place, I guess you could say. And I believe that. When we went back to the head office where they take their kids, I guess, we all got split up. My little brothers, they didn't know what was going on, and like I was the oldest one, you could say, and I was like always there for them, and they looked up to me. I promised my little brothers that we wouldn't get split up no matter what happened. My brothers would always phone me every day, and before we hang up, they would always start crying, asking, when are we gonna be together again, or when am I gonna see you? I can't do. I don't know, it kind of made me feel broken because I couldn't do nothing about it. I always kept things bottled up from where we got split up because I couldn't talk to anybody. I thought I couldn't trust anyone whatsoever. I came to the point where I just wanted to end everything and like end my life because I was like so upset about the fact that I let my brothers down. This song I wrote is kind of to send a message to people of child and family services and let them know that social workers shouldn't make promises that they can't keep towards kids in care because it affects them mentally and like emotionally. And also it's for the kids in care, and let them know that everything's gonna be all right in the end, and that you gotta keep your head up and stay positive even in the worst situations that you're in.
First group home I lived in was when I was 14, and since then I've lived in a few group homes, a few safe houses, hotels. I spent a lot of time with the staff, and some of the bonds I made with some of the staff I had for a really long time. They definitely shaped or helped shape who I am today, for better or for worse. In the group homes, everyone bonds to a certain extent. I mean, those people become like family to you because you're placed in a similar situation, and regardless of the background that you guys have, you guys are forced to some extent to come together in a certain way. And unfortunately, those relationships don't always last outside the group home. I mean, some people will move on and get over whatever was holding them back, and unfortunately, some people just aren't able to overcome those restrictions, and that has a lot to do, I think, with the fact that the youth care system doesn't really always prepare them for life outside of the youth care system. So it can be really difficult when they become adults and are immediately forced out of the system that's been taking care of their every need, and they don't have the experience, they don't have the know-how to take care of themselves, and I mean, it's really difficult to come back from a situation like that. I think the main flaw in youth care is probably this, like, it's the sheer fact that there's too many youth going through the system, and the structure they have in place is not geared towards dealing with that many individuals. And so what naturally occurs is kind of like a melding of every youth in that system. They just kind of number them. There isn't a lot of individualism between the people there. And when you're struggling through a life crisis, which a lot of people are when they're in a group home, I mean, they don't have the same kind of structure that a lot of other people might have. And when you don't have that sense of uniqueness, that sense of individuality, it's really difficult to feel like a human being even sometimes. Privacy was a really big issue in the group homes, for sure. There were no locks on the doors when I got there. Theft was pretty big, obviously. Got a bunch of teenage kids in a house together, and things are gonna go missing. So it wasn't great that there was no locks on the door, but we did manage to finally get a little bit of security for the youth there so they can hold on to their possessions, because when you're in a group home, it's pretty important to hold on to your possessions. You don't have much, and it's hard when things go missing that you can't really replace. I mean, I don't necessarily view the time I spent in care as a negative thing. It was a learning process for me, and as I said, it shaped who I was, shaped who I am as a person. And despite the fact that it may have been easier if I had stayed with my family and had a very solid childhood, I'm okay with the fact that I lost that solidarity and gained all the experiences that I got from living in care.
The story doesn't always begin the way that it should, for most of us. The CFS system ripped my family apart. It's like they did everything they could to keep us from each other. And for that, I come from a broken generation, where the gap between blood and strangers isn't very large. And the people who take in these kids from these reservations, it's like they got no heart, most for self-righteous reasons, with no real dedication.
I remember my first foster home, and it was with this old lady. She was an alcoholic, so she was always drunk. She's never even there most of the time. I wasn't even registered for school. I didn't go to school, you know. I was still young, but you know. And they didn't screen this woman at all. It was the craziest shit ever. I remember when I couldn't go to bed, when I couldn't go to sleep, her remedy was alcohol. If I wasn't ready to go to bed, it was like, here, have a whatever it was, here, have a glass of this should help you go to sleep. And you know, it did. I went to sleep, right? And she'd even put it in my cereal and stuff like that. I didn't understand, you know, I didn't understand what this stuff was and why it made me feel weird. It didn't, you know, I was very uncomfortable, didn't like it at all. She would like, you know, she just kind of like I'm just kind of getting a little pissed, but
To take a child from the mother is emotional breakage. It's like you don't even know who you are anymore. You don't even know where you came from. When the scars are internal, every home is a home to escape from. There's no guideline in parenthood. But if there was, could you make one? And even if you did, guidelines are rules. And we know humans like to break those.
anyways, it was like a few years later, my worker put us together, me and my sister, after, you know, I'd complained to her for so long that I miss my sister, I don't know where she is, you know. So it was around 6, we got put in the same house. And it wasn't very long, it was maybe like half a year, maybe less. But it was because we couldn't get along most of the time, you know. I wanted to be with her, but I guess we clashed heads a lot. But we got split up after that house. And I never really even seen her after that. After that, it was like she didn't exist. And when I asked my worker about her, she always told me she didn't want to see me, or, you know, or she's in another foster home and she's happy there, you know. And I was confused because, you know, me and my sister were always supposed to be together. She always told me we'd be together. And that just didn't end up happening in the end. Every house I went into, it was the same story. When I asked about her, and it was like, she didn't want to see me, she didn't miss me, she didn't care about me. When we got older, that's when we figured out, oh, that was a lie. That was all a lie. Like, they told the same thing to her about me. They said that I didn't want to see her and that I hated her and that I wanted nothing to do with her. And it was all untrue. They said the same thing about my mother too. My mother didn't want to see me, that my mother didn't care about me. And so I eventually started to believe it because after a while, you know, my mom stopped showing up to me, you know, our meetings and stuff like that. And I don't know, I put it together in my head and I was questioning. I was like, did they really even tell her? Did they tell her that there was a meeting going on? Did they tell her that they were supposed to be here at this time, you know? Or did they really do that, or were they just lying to me? I didn't know. I didn't know anymore. So I ended up just totally giving up on my mother, you know? And a kid should never have to do that. You know, kids should never have to give up on their mom, you know? Even though she gave up on us, you know, I still didn't give up on her because I loved her, you know? She's my mom. I'm supposed to be with my mom, you know? Like, I didn't understand why they would tell us these lies. Like, how would it benefit us in the future? It didn't, you know? I'm still trying to figure out who I am as a man. I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going in life. The reason why I'm doing this spoken word is kind of to let the workers, you know, there's good workers out there. I know that for sure, you know, I've seen it. But for those other workers, it's more for like just to let you know that, you know, this type of stuff shouldn't be going on. And I don't know how you got your job, but you shouldn't have it.
Which gives us another reason to run, another reason to never trust. These people couldn't better themselves. How'd you expect them to better us? But I never broke. No matter how many times you left me in a home you knew I hated. Through all the confusion and deceit, I made it. Sure, I came out assimilated and less native, but I'ma keep on moving. Because if I lost, that means you win. And this one you're gonna lose.